Hey guys, welcome back to the Friday Vlog, where we discuss activity that goes on here with the BuzWeaver channel. That includes things like current events, headlines that are in the news, pop culture, social media, technology, and items of interest that come up during the week that allow us to have a little bit of a dialogue. That would also include shorts, as well as community posts for those of you who watch directly on YouTube. But of course, I do want to thank all of you guys across New Tech, that's BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey, and even on TikTok now, although it's not New Tech, for all of your guys' continued support.
We start things off from Mediaite. MAGA celebrates Michelle Obama's podcast debuting to abysmal numbers. Were you one of the 25,000 that listened? Now, this business is not a very easy one, I can tell you, as a content creator my own self. Oh, I could wax for quite some time about how this industry really comes down to consistency and persistence, but also levels of personality on the part of the individual. And even when I started my own channel, it started off as gaming, and everything was going swimmingly well. And then, of course, things changed. But as you guys know, who have been participating on the channel for quite some time, how those changes have occurred. And then I went into politics and into current events and so forth. And that changes a lot of things, because I would say a majority of my followers and subscribers on social media were gamers. So it was quite a dramatic shift, was it not? And now we're seeing the Democrat Party seeing the success of individuals like a Joe Rogan, for example, in podcasting. But they have to understand that this is almost doing this type of work as grassroots. And you really have to have really that consistency that I talked about, that persistence to really make things happen. And you just can't generate that. It just doesn't happen. I also saw Dylan Mulvaney, you remember from the Bud Light, he's not genuinely trans. He's just more of a provocateur, as it were, just in that realm, and how he single-handedly destroyed Bud Light. Because people can see through the nonsense. They can see through disingenuousness. They can see through things that are contrived. And that's why here on the BuzWeaver channel, I just try to keep it just like it is, as organic and genuine as possible. I give you my thoughts, my opinions on these particular topics. And but this isn't something that can be manufactured. You guys come here because of the content and because of the elements of it and aspects of it that you personally enjoy. So as you know, I don't go through my metrics. I don't base a lot of it on that metric system that they encourage people to use and just simply talk on those particular topics. Now, there might be some that I occasionally do, but typically I go what I think I find interesting and I want to share with you as a friend. So, right-wing influencers on X celebrate this week as former First Lady Michelle Obama's new podcast debuted to disappointing numbers on YouTube. Miss Obama and her brother Craig Robinson announced the launch of a video podcast Monday, promising weekly episodes, and dropped 2 episodes to kickstart the new venture. Now, the thing about YouTube when it comes to the algorithm is that you always have to keep that algorithm appeased, and they are always changing the metrics and dynamics of that algorithm. And right now, they're introducing a new system called Hype. And this is supposed to be some new system where even people can make monetary contributions to help out their channel. And, of course, they call that pay to win across all. We see that a lot in gaming. So, in my opinion, podcast uploaded 2 episodes Wednesday morning that attracted 47,000 and 15,000 views, with total viewerships in 24 hours, YouTube's reaching just 62,000. Now, there's a couple things that you guys have to understand sometimes when you see some of your top creators or even on my channel. You'll notice that they get very small amount of views. Now, there's a lot of things going on right now on YouTube that has discouraged a lot of creators from creating content, because right now it takes 2 to 3 times more content to generate the revenue that we would if you talk simply AdSense. So that's why you see so many of your creators and myself talking about affiliate marketing or sponsorships and these sorts of things that they have. And so these things oftentimes have to be organic, and people have to go off raw talent sometimes to really succeed. But even some of the bigger channels, even some of the more popular channels, are facing this dilemma. And a lot of the metrics and the algorithm are all going to be based upon certain things that the algorithm is looking for. So as to, say, create a balanced field. And hype and enthusiasm are some of those things that are hard to generate through a metric, right? This is why I never really base things on metric standings. But as far as Michelle Obama dropping these things, yeah, this is not unusual. I mean, someone with her, with her clout, as it were, or her personality, and obviously being the first lady, you would think would generate a lot. And this is why I was just talking about Dylan Mulvaney, because Tim Pool was talking about his book that he just released, and it's in 153rd place. And when Tim made the calculation, they assumed that he had only sold maybe a couple hundred books to be at that level. It's an interesting and challenging world, and so much of the numbers, oftentimes, particularly on TikTok, are often artificially inflated. But I can empathize with her situation, because this is just something that you can't become famous on YouTube or become an internet celebrity overnight. And I know there's a lot of thought on the fame and the glory and the attention and maybe the money. And some people do succeed at it very well. But just like in business, only 1 in 10 businesses really succeed. And on YouTube, it's very challenging. You got to find that niche. You got to find your area of expertise, or area where you excel. And certainly politics was not one that I wanted to cover on my channel. And that's just me being honest with you guys. But it was something that I wanted to cover in the interim, as it were, until a particular game or gaming came out that I was particularly interested in. Now, I do have a level of background in politics, in current events, and I try to use some of my experience in those areas working in law to bring you guys this information and so forth. But so I can empathize with Michelle Obama. I know that that many people are celebrating that it didn't do very well, but this is such a saturated market as well. I mean, everybody wants to do well in this, and they want to succeed in this. And you can see the directions that some people have to go in to try to earn that money that they're looking for. I won't go into all the details of it all, but I just wanted to kind of just mention that here on the Friday Vlog, kind of kick it back and just relax and just kind of tell you like what these experiences are like for even someone as big as, say, Michelle Obama or others. It's not a simple thing to do. It just isn't. And here we see Benny Johnson. Michelle Obama's first couple podcast episodes absolutely flopped, not even getting a combined 20,000 views in 15 hours after posting. And I can relate to that too, just on my own channel. It's just bizarre the way the algorithm works. And, you can't artificially create things like TikTok tries to do, or some platforms try to do. They try to artificially create these numbers. And it does happen, especially on Twitter, for example. Back when it was Twitter, when you first tried to join Twitter, it would always recommend certain media outlets, because that's where all the media congregated. That's where all the left and others all congregated together to plan and to organize. And so, obviously, when Elon Musk took over, they were very, very irritated and annoyed and exposed. And then, of course, Elon went even further by exposing the dashboards that were associated with those through our government. The Department of Homeland Security and other agencies were able to access that to shut people down that they didn't agree with. And, of course, everyone remembers that Donald Trump was removed from social media, from Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. And that's the style sometimes that happens. You have this organization. We used to call it raid brigading, when you would try to downvote people or try to create issues in others. But trying to succeed on YouTube for the first time, even someone like Michelle Obama, 4,000, 13,000, 13,000 for someone just getting started is phenomenal, right? Because I can remember back in the day, this was like 10 years ago, when all the guys were like, this is how you do this on YouTube and that on YouTube. If you were getting 5% of your subscriber views, that was considered excellent. Imagine that. And these are all the kind of metrics that people used to do, but the metrics are constantly changing. So I can totally understand why she's being challenged by this, because even YouTube can kind of throttle certain individual people just to maintain, the continuity and the environment within YouTube. And, of course, we know Gavin Newsom is also trying this himself, trying to get that middle is what he's trying to do. He's trying to find some kind of solution, because they realize, as we've always talked about here on the BuzWeaver channel, the importance and significance of influence. Influence is like the currency for the Democrats. And, this is why you're seeing so much of the challenges with Donald Trump's tariffs and his wanting there to be fairness, between other countries, and they're being upset because for the most part, Democrats have allowed many countries to get away with certain things. And of course, like anything else, once you allow a child to have this, that, and the other, they continue to want this, that, and the other all the time. And so when someone comes along to discipline them and say, okay, here's the way it's going to go, we're going to make this fair. And now they're upset because they were basically on a gravy train, many of these countries, and Canada and Mexico. They were all on this beautiful, wonderful gravy train where they got everything they wanted and then some, because the Democrats were all concerned about looking popular. They want to look popular. They want to be popular. Popularity is their currency that they think helps them influence people. And so they saw what happened with Donald Trump going on Joe Rogan, and they think, okay, we need to duplicate that. Who is our outstanding Democrat right now that everyone can turn to? I can't believe that people were saying Jasmine Crockett. That just blows me away. But it's a very, very interesting environment to work in. And I know I've kind of hijacked it by talking about what my experience has been like, but in the experiences of others. But I'm telling you, it is a brutal, brutal area to work in. I know some of you who follow me are also content creators, so you guys can totally relate to it. It is a difficult business to be in right now. And I know a lot of people turn to other platforms, as you can imagine, certain individuals turning to certain platforms to try to generate more revenue. And so they're taking more risk. They're being more edgy. They're doing more stuff that maybe others, aren't able to engage in, because everybody's motives and directions for their content and their creation is going to be different. And so Obama has launched this new podcast, and, it's a brutal market. It's brutal out there to do these sorts of things. And I assume this must be her brother here, Craig Robinson. Did I read that name wrong? Did I get it? Did I say Craig? Yeah, it is Craig. I don't know why I thought it was a different name. But so they just started their channel, and she's trying to get things going for the Democrat Party, maybe to see what's going on. But yeah, it is not easy. You saw what happened to Hawk Tua girl, right? She was doing so well, then she got caught up in that Doge incident. And, it didn't turn out too well for her. So she's still kind of struggling with that. So fame and fortune and all these sorts of things, it's a very delicate environment to be in. But I welcome your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. If you have any thoughts or opinions on Michelle Obama's podcast or that of Gavin Newsom, or your opinions on your particular channel or your favorite creators and how they're doing. And so I welcome all those thoughts. I wanted to, I always try to make it kind of light on Fridays. And just kind of let you guys know this sort of thing and the other about my channel from time to time, as I often say at the intro of the beginning of the Friday vlogs. But it looks like Michelle is trying to wet her feet in the podcast business, as it were. And it's challenging, but podcasting in and of itself kind of fluctuates. And but I still consider it video because of the fact that it's in video. So they call it a podcast, but it isn't to me. But everybody's trying to find their own angle. But nonetheless, guys, I want to thank all of you for your continued support. That's everybody across New Tech and on TikTok. You guys have been amazing. But that's what I have for you guys this Friday.
All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this Friday vlog. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the comments. Below this video, you can find the various social media links that I belong to, so make sure you avail yourselves and follow me there. And of course, if you order frequently from Amazon or are a Prime member, you guys can use my landing page link down below. It helps out the channel and your privacy is protected. And speaking of privacy, while you're online, I have my trusted VPN, Trust Zone down there if you guys want to check that out. Excellent service. Excellent. I've always enjoyed them, and we'll continue to use them. And so, guys, thank you again, everyone here on YouTube, for your guys' continued support, the likes, the shares, and the comments. All these things help out the channel, and it's very much appreciated. Very strange what's going on here with YouTube. They got this new system called Hype now, so we're still trying to figure out how that works and so forth. But nonetheless, guys, thank you so much for your continued support. And appearing there on the screen for all of you guys that are watching on YouTube, that would be the channel icon. You guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys behind the Galaxy phone camera next week.